and we're celebrating our 100th birthday celebration of the old post office and the grand opening of your new City Hall. Just want to welcome everyone and thank you all for showing up on such a great, wonderful day. I just want to welcome any of our state and local officials, state officials. If you're here today, we'd like to recognize you.
There's nothing more important than to honor and have the privilege of recognizing this special day. Matter of fact, what we did, I always like to be sure and tell everybody that I didn't do it, but I did try to get Judge Newsom to climb up on top of the Capitol and fly this flag. He keeps telling me he's past climbing up to the top of the Capitol. But anyway, we do have this flag that we flew over the Capitol, and it's to honor this special day, 100-year birthday of the old post office and the new City Hall. And I can't think of anything greater to do. So here's your certificate to do it. I just want to tell you that the folks here in Sulphur Springs have done an outstanding job of making this one of the most beautiful downtown areas, certainly in my district and all over Texas. And when we get a chance to come here, and I'll tell you another thing, I like to come here. You get some great restaurants here too. My wife, let's go ahead. You do.
Again, there's a lot of people who help participate in the construction and the building of this building. And again, it was led by our finance director, Peter Carson, and the vision of our city manager, Mark Maxwell. And yes. And I want to say also the gumption of our city council to make those hard decisions when it comes to spending our taxpayers' money in the right way. I just want to thank them for the great job they did and go ahead and making those decisions and such. At this time, we're going to have the history of the building by our former mayor and city councilman, Mr. John Sellers.
Thank you, Freddie. This is really an honor to be standing here today. A lot of work, as our mayor said, has come into getting to where we are. This is a building that obviously has been standing here 100 years. And it is a building that at one time we thought we may lose. And thank goodness we did not lose it. And we had several concerned citizens that talked to us over the years about not letting this building go. So I think they would be very proud. 1914, 100 years ago, this city was happening then. There were things going on in the city. Modern era was coming. The city council passed an ordinance in 1914 that you had to limit your speed limit in town to 12 miles per hour. That was for the few automobiles that were even here. They also decided it was time to regulate the use of slaughterhouses within the city limits. Thank goodness they did that. The mayor in 1914 was L.E.G. There were two city commissioners, W.R. Patrick and J.E. Thomas. All three of these men still have descendants in our community now. They voted $30,000. It was time to pave the square and all the streets that lead from the square. Some people will say we're still working on that. Also, this was the year that many of you have seen in the banks when they filmed or photographed, a panoramic view of the square. And this was the year before we paved the square. It also was the year that we had our first city directory. We had just numbered our houses. Also, a comprehensive map was drawn of the city and filed in the city archives. And I wish I could find that map. We had a very active chamber. And then I want y'all to pay real close attention to this. The tax rate in 1914 was $1.13 per 100. Taxes do go down. This beautiful building was styled in the Beaux Art and Greek Revival fashion. Look at the beautiful Ionic columns, the arches, the arch windows, and the doors. You will also notice when you go inside the beautifully painted foyer. You will notice our lamp, our lantern that had been covered in years and years of paint that was uncovered, and all of a sudden we realized it was gold leaf. So there is some beautiful safe doors in there with the symbol of the United States. The federal building in 1914 cost $50,000. But the story started in 1906. 1906, we had a United States Senator by the name of Morris Shepherd. And Morris Shepherd felt that Sulphur Springs needed a federal building. We were the size town that had the revenue and the postal service that needed a federal building. So they started the process. But as with government, it will be 8 years later before they finished this building. The land was purchased in 1909. On this very corner, for years previously, sat a wagon shop and then a blacksmith shop. And a couple of years before 1909, the First Christian Church, which sat where the church is now in a much older building, purchased this corner. And the federal government started looking for a site. And they bought this site in 1909. In 1911, J.F. McKnight was hired as the general contractor, and one of the famous architects of the Department of Treasury, John Knox Taylor, was employed to design this building. And there were some delays, there were some construction changes, but in July of 1914, we're in July of 2014, this building was finished and opened for the first time. What a wonderful honor to our forefathers of this state, this county, this city, to reopen this beautiful building as the Sulphur Springs City Hall. Thank you.
Just on this plaque, I'm going to read what it says to us. It says, City of Sulphur Springs Federal Post Office Renovation Project, 2011 through 2014. Rededicated as Sulphur Springs City Hall, July 15, 2014. And it has a listing of the city council members. At the time, our mayor was John Sellers, and the rest of city council members. Mark Maxwell, city manager. Peter Carson, director of finance, and the project director. Architect David Chase, architects, and the project manager Lee Evans, KBL Restoration.